If you walked up to anybody who knows anything about golf and you told them that Alister MacKenzie was the greatest golf course designer ever, none of them would argue with you. He designed courses like Cypress Point, Royal Melbourne, and even Augusta National. And to have those three on your list and to not be considered the greatest golf course designer ever would be crazy. He also designed this golf course in Santa Cruz, California, and this was actually his favorite golf course out of all his designs. This is Pasatiempo, and Pasatiempo has some of the craziest greens that you're ever going to see, as well as some of the best bunkers you're ever going to see. And as you'll notice on this putt that I took on the practice green, these are going to be some interesting greens that I have to deal with all day today. Hole number 1 is a par 4 down the hill, and it's going right back at the Pacific Ocean. And you know, today I don't hit very many fairways. In fact, I only hit one fairway. And you're going to see things just like this quite a few times today during my round. I hit a lot of cuts, and I think a lot of that was because I was a little nervous about missing fairways, and unfortunately that cut that I played just wasn't really working for me today. So this one was actually in the 9th fairway, so that doesn't count as a fairway hit, but this was actually one of my better iron shots all day today. This was a 5-iron up the hill, and it's very important to stay below the hole on this green, and I didn't quite do that, so I've got a downhiller here now for my birdie. And the greens here today were only rolling at about a 10.5, but you don't want to play this course if it's rolling an 11 to 12 or more, because I really don't know. I definitely know that I couldn't ever shoot anywhere close to par if the greens were much faster than they were today.
Great pace. Great fun.
Now, I hope you'll forgive me. This was actually the very first golf course on my 5 golf course trip to California that I took back in October. However, unfortunately, I've already missed a shot on film, so I missed the tee shot on this second hole. Not a bad shot. I'm only about an inch off of the fairway here, but even an inch off of the fairway, you're still playing with some really thick rough. So it's a pretty fairly straightaway par 4, but this green, you got to be careful of the front right of the green. That front right of the green will shoot your ball all the way to the back, so I usually recommend taking less club and just trying to hit a little bit of a spinner. This was probably my best wedge shot of the day here, so I only have about 10 feet left for my birdie on the second hole. Hole number 3 is one of the most difficult par 3s you'll ever get to play. It's a long uphill par 3 and you've got bunkers everywhere. A lot of golfers will actually just lay up on this par 3 because it's not worth it to even try to mess around with those bunkers. I took a very aggressive line here and I barely made it over the bunker just short of the green, which I'm lucky because out of those bunkers, a par is nearly impossible. So I made it all the way up here to the green. I've still got about 40 feet for my birdie, but this putt here breaks in about 4 different directions before it gets to the hole.
It's terrible.
Hole number 4 is one of the more open tee shots. You just got to avoid a couple bunkers off the tee box, but really as long as you can keep it in the fairway, you're going to have a fairly short shot in here on your approach. And you'll notice here that even though I hit it quite a bit right of where I wanted to go, it's still just a little about 44-yard shot in up to this uphill green. You just want to make sure to avoid bunkers both in the fairway and around the green on this hole. If you can do that, there's no reason that you can't make a birdie.
Perfect.
The rumors are true. I can make a par.
Well done.
It's true.
Making all sorts of putts out here.
Nice par.
Oh, beauty. Birdie?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right in the middle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that because that is the only birdie that you're going to see me make all day today. Sorry for the spoiler, but that's just the fact of the matter, unfortunately, here at Pasatiempo for me. Now, I apologize about the fact that I'm wearing an AirPod. This is probably the first time I've worn an AirPod while I'm playing golf, especially with other people, but I was actually using it to try as a microphone, and it didn't really work, so I'm pretty much wearing an AirPod here in my right ear for no reason as I play golf, so just ignore that as I'm playing today. This is another uphill par 3, and you'll notice here on this putt, again, how much break you're going to be dealing with. This one actually started coming all the way back to me, so I barely made it halfway to the hole here on that birdie putt.
There's a hit.
Now with this 5th green, the big thing you got to watch out for is just how narrow it actually is. It's kind of a tricky little shot to actually get onto the green, so being short where I was is not that big a deal, but as you can see on that first putt, it's just a really difficult putt to get all the way back. Now the 6th hole is actually where Alister MacKenzie lived when he passed away, and his ashes were actually scattered throughout this golf course when he died. But this is just a straightaway par 5, and you got to be careful going left. You have a little bit of room right, especially once you get up to that 7th fairway. You can hit it into the 7th fairway, but this was a decent drive for me. I hit my cut, and I carried that bunker just left of the fairway. I'm still in the rough, and as you can see how thick the rough is here, this here was not a very pretty shot for me. Now after that birdie on the 4th hole, I really kind of started to struggle, so pretty much holes 5 through 8 were not my best holes of the day by any means. So I kind of start to miss greens in regulation, which you can't do on this golf course. And like I told you earlier, when I only hit one fairway on this golf course, some of this rough is so thick that it's going to be pretty difficult to make very many pars and almost impossible to make any birdies if you're not hitting fairways and greens.
Beauty! Oh, come on!
Thought that was in the hole.
Is that for birdie?
No, that was for par.
Oh.
The 7th hole is a short par 4 straight away, and you're really just kind of hitting up the chute. And this is the only hole that I feel like these trees that were planted here don't quite match with the rest of the golf course, but it still makes for such a good hole. You just got to avoid those bunkers right around the green, which of course I don't. And I hit a really good drive. I just clipped that tree kind of at the start of the fairway there, so even though it's a short par 4, I still left myself over 160 yards into this green. And this rough here is just a major problem for me.
Thick rough, my goodness.
It really was a good shot.
Yeah, couldn't do a whole lot.
What you do that right to left. I made the putt, I missed the hole.
I'm an idiot.
Alright, 3-putt double bogey for me there on the 7th hole. But now we get into number 8, which is a really cool par 3. I think this golf course has the best combination of par 3s. They have 5 par 3s, and it's only a par 70. So 5 par 3s, but really it's 5 really good par 3s. All of them are. I hit this one well, but I don't know, maybe it's because it's still early in the morning, and I'm not used to the altitude now. Of course, this is my first round of my California golf trip, so I was still kind of figuring out the club selection, but this was short, kind of hit that short bunker here, and this was not a good bunker shot. I pretty much just chunked this out, even though we've got a back pin, so I've got about 60 feet still for my par, and it actually might be more than 60 feet, and this hole does not end here.
Turn right.
Pretty good. What do you think
Yeah, that's just awful.
what do you think that thing is?
Alright, that is my second 3-putt double bogey in a row, so now I've got to hope that I can get something back here on this par 5. It's an uphill par 5, plays a little bit longer than the yardage with the uphill. However, again, just hit it in the fairway and there's no reason that you can't get here in 2. I started this way left and hit a big cut. Not a terrible drive for me, but didn't quite cut enough. So still in the rough like I am all day long today. And you're going to notice this rough here, again, it is just crazy thick rough out here, so it really doesn't even give me a chance to get to the green in 2. So I just have to lay up here just out to the right, and this is a good layup. You want to stay right of this green, kind of short right. That's a perfect approach shot for you, because then you've got the whole green to work with wherever the flag may be.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol involved.
That's right.
Ooh,
Oh, gosh,
man,
that
had
breaks
some
hard.
break on it. Carson, your ball came in. Your ball came in and it had zip on it. It was just.
Alright, front 9 was 6 over par, really 6 over par in just 4 holes there. Pretty much 5 through 8 I was 6 over par just in those holes. But not horrible. This golf course is not something that I'm going to come to and expect to shoot even par. But luckily, my game starts to get a little bit better here as the back 9 gets rolling, start hitting a few more greens in regulation. But I will say, it's not like I start hitting fairways. That does not happen. Hole number 10, you just got to watch out for this barranca short, so if you can't hit it too far, then just stay out to the right of it. I can carry it no problem, and you can be a lot further left than where I hit my drive here. So I'm still kind of messing with some tree trouble over here, and I've still got a long 230-yard shot down this hill, and I just pulled this one to the left, so I'm still going to have a difficult chip shot here to get up and down for my par.
Thank you. Get this out of the way real quick.
Great up and down, nice par 6.
The 11th hole, in my opinion, is the most difficult hole at Pasatiempo. You usually have to hit a long iron off the tee. You probably could hit a driver, but for the most part, I would just try to hit this about 230 to 240 off the tee box here. And of course, the further left you go, the shorter your second shot will be, but you also don't want to go into the barranca to the left. Now, the second shot, you're going to have a very long shot in usually, and it's up the hill, and if you're short of the green, it'll actually roll quite a ways back down into the fairway. Luckily, this was actually probably my best shot with an iron all day today.
I hit a shot.
So that only leaves me with about 6.5 feet for my second birdie of the day.
Oh,
that is terrible news.
Hole number 12 is a downhill par 4, and I was actually really surprised at this hole. Usually when I watch this one online, I see this hole and just think that you should punch something out into the fairway, but I just figured, what the heck, let's just try hitting a driver. So I hit this driver, and I was going just right of the green, thinking, okay, I'm going to be maybe 90 yards out. But I actually get down to the green, and my ball is, I mean, literally we're talking just a few yards off the front of the green here. So I'm just down in this little gully and rolled all the way down, so I've just got a short little chip. Now, I used a pitching wedge here and punched this up, and I thought it was a terrible chip. The second I hit it, I didn't think it was good, but I walked up, and I'm only about 7 feet for a birdie, so this is my second hole in a row with a good-looking birdie putt. And that one there just was a terrible putt. I thought it would go left, and it definitely didn't go left, but not a very good putt there. The 13th hole is a par 5, and really this is a great hole. The bunkers around the green are pretty amazing. Off the tee box here, I would recommend going just a bit right of where I hit my drive here. Where that target line is there on the screen, I think anywhere there or even within about 15 to 20 yards right of that is totally fine. My drive was not bad. It's just going to be in the left rough here. But if you go left, some of the trees kind of block you out, as you can see here. Makes it a little bit harder to actually even try to reach the green in two. But I've still got 256 here, so I'm just hitting a 1-iron, kind of trying to lay up to the right of the green. Probably wasn't really going to be able to get it to the green anyways. But if you are going to lay up, try to lay up short of those bunkers around the green. I got pretty lucky here, just kind of sneaking between them. If I did it again, I probably would have tried to lay up quite a bit shorter than this. So this chip shot tried to roll back down a little bit closer to the hole. Either way, it gives me now my third decent look at birdie in a row.
Minneapolis. I've not. I have some family in LA and a little.
Hole 14 has a swale that actually kind of goes through the middle of the fairway, especially over on the left part of the fairway. And you got to be careful going down into that because it'll give you some really awkward lies with your ball either below your feet or above your feet. I hit a good drive here. I know it didn't hit the fairway, but I hit it just right of where I was trying to go. And I'm just a few yards off of the fairway, but like usual at Pasatiempo, if you're not in the fairway, you're usually going to be in some pretty deep rough like I am here. So this is just going to be a pitching wedge in, but again, I would tell you to be over here before you're down in that swale in the left side of the fairway.
Perfect,
Oh, yeah.
Bradley.
Got that turn a little more.
Number 15 is the shortest par 3 on the golf course, but it's still got bunkers surrounding the entire green. Especially short of the green, you got to be careful because if you're in any of these bunkers short of the green, they're going to be very deep and really difficult to get up and down. And then I would also recommend if you have a left pin, make sure to stick it on the left side of the green, and if it's a right pin, stay over to the right because it's going to be a very difficult putt if you're not on the correct side of the green as a pin. Now this here, so this makes it as my 5th birdie putt in a row, and out of all the birdie putts I had, this actually had the best opportunity to go in.
Keep going. Keep going.
Come on.
Oh, you're kidding me. Such a good putt.
There might be an earthquake soon.
Oh, I can't even cry right.
Seriously, I thought.
Try the old shadow trick.
I know.
Thank you.
That's in my 100% range.
The signature hole at Pasatiempo is hole number 16, probably one of the wildest greens you're ever going to see, really on any golf course. So I usually just hit an iron off of this tee. Now with that said, I would probably usually take it a little bit left of what I did here. I just went through the fairway, and so of course, after 16 holes, I still have hit 0 fairways all day today. So I've got to look into this, of course, extremely difficult green. It's a nerve-wracking shot, and I pulled this one a little bit to the left. Not a terrible shot. It's still back there far enough. But, of course, I would have liked to at least be somewhere towards the middle of the green. And here's the green. As you walk up to it, the camera does this no justice. These hills are so much bigger in person. It kind of reminds you of Augusta because if you go to Augusta in person, everybody always says that the hills are so much higher than they actually appear. But here you go, the 16th green. Here's the top ledge, and there's actually about 4 different tiers if you really think about it. There's 4 different tiers to this green, and looking from the top all the way down to the bottom is a pretty significant drop-off, as you can see all the way down where they're walking here at the very bottom of the green. Just a huge green, and one of those types of holes that a bogey is always going to be good. I actually have a decent chip shot here to get up for a par, but I left this one a little bit short, and now I'm still going to leave myself about 10 feet for my par.
Oh my. So scared of the hills.
That was good. Good fun.
Great fun.
Alright, after 7 straight pars, I finally make a bogey there on number 16. So I get to 7 over par, and then hole number 17 is a pretty straightaway par 4. Now this green is extremely deep from front to back, so be careful on your approach shot. But as you can see here, I hit a drive and it's going where I want it to go. And sure enough, I have finally hit a fairway, only by about 2 inches. But I finally have hit one fairway today out of the entire round of golf. The next one's a par 3, so this is my last opportunity to hit a fairway. And then I hit a nice little wedge in here. But again, it's such a long green that it's hard to really judge the distance, so I still left myself a decently lengthy birdie putt here.
Get in there.
Oh, good putt. Good par.
18th hole is just such a good par 3. It's surrounded by bunkers. If you're short, you could roll all the way back down into the barranca, and if you're long, your chip shot from any of those bunkers behind the green is going to be nearly impossible no matter what the flag is. So very important to make a good club selection here. I am hitting a 7-iron. It's 173. Got a little bit of wind at my face here, and I hit a really nice shot. I actually hit this right where I wanted to hit it, but the sun was kind of in a position where we couldn't even see where this ended up, so we were all wondering where it was. And then of course as I got up to the green, I ended up actually a little bit short, but I couldn't tell. I might have even landed decently close to the green and then kicked back down to the barranca here. So this was a pretty touchy chip shot here. I just had barely carried that barranca, and you could see how significantly the green slopes from back to front. Luckily, this was one of my better short game shots of the entire day, and I just got this to tap in range for my par. So this finishes me off at 7 over par, which is only a 77 because it's a par 70. And you know, usually I wouldn't be too happy with this score, but for Pasatiempo, this golf course is not a golf course to come to and just expect to shoot under par. So 36 putts is not great, but 1 out of 13 fairways is terrible. Luckily, I still got 11 out of 18 greens, so I was recovering well out of the rough all day today. But that brings my career stats after 7 rounds on YouTube to 11 over par with 31 putts per round, which went up significantly after my 36 today. And now this got me down to 49% of my fairway, so a really bad day with the driver. Next video will be at Spyglass Hill, and that's going to be actually technically my second round of this golf trip, but I actually decided to put that one as the last video because that golf course might be competing with Pebble Beach now as my favorite golf course of all time. So stay tuned for that video coming up soon, and thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.